The MLB has banned players for a lot of crazy reasons. From working at a casino, throwing the World Series, to even hacking into a team's website, these are players who are banned from the MLB for life. And one of the craziest reasons a player got banned was because he complained about an umpire's call. See, back in 1887, we're talking like pre-American Revolution era, Horace was on a mission to become one of the best basketball managers the world has ever seen. And he failed. I mean, look at these records. My man went 20-49 with the Indianapolis Hoosiers, got fired, and then went 18-23 with the New York Giants. But that's not the point. Horace was known for constantly yelling, arguing, and insulting players, which he would frequently do after they lost a game. And it was this habit that would be Mr. Horace's downfall. After his unsuccessful run as a baseball manager, Horace decided it was time to try something new, which is why he thought it would be a good idea to buy an MLB team instead of trying to manage one. So in 1909, he bought the Philadelphia Phillies for $350,000. And after barely losing to his old team, the Giants, Horace fueled his infamous temper towards umpire Williams Brennan, accusing him of rigging the game so the Giants would win. Being used to this type of behavior from Horace, the league begged the commissioner to do something. And as the MLB commissioner hadn't taken too kindly to Horace attacking the umpire for unfair calls, he smacked Horace with a lifetime ban for trying to give the league a bad name. But at least Horace was banned because of a logical reason. Because Mickey Mantle and Willie Mays got banned for something so stupid, it left them confused for months. I'm talking about when Mickey and Willie got banned for working with casinos. See, back in the day, the MLB hated anything that had to do with gambling because they saw it as something that was hurting their branding and the sport altogether. So when Mickey Mantles and Willie Mays accepted a $100,000 contract to work with some massive casinos, the MLB, well, they didn't like that one bit, instantly banning both players from ever working or associating with the MLB ever again. Just like that. And Mickey and Willie, they were just confused. One second you're accepting a $100,000 contract, and the next you're just banned from the MLB for life? But the weirdest part about this whole situation was that Mickey and Willie weren't even in the MLB anymore. See, with Mickey and Willie combining for over 1,200 home runs, 15 World Series appearances, and over 500 stolen bases, you can tell they had both had great, if not legendary careers, retiring after decades of playing baseball. But those decades of playing baseball didn't even reward them because back in the day, good players weren't even paid a fraction of what average players make nowadays. And this meant that players such as Mickey and Willie, two baseball greats, were forced to work for casinos, greeting people as they walked in. I mean, imagine having a crazy baseball career, winning multiple World Series, but when you're retired, you're forced to work a normal job. Now that sucks, but it wasn't all horrible as they weren't banned from the MLB for long. After a couple years of being banished from the MLB, the new commissioner righted the wrong by unbanning them, saving their baseball legacy. Now, on the topic of great players, Jenrry Mejia was supposed to be the next big thing, until, of course, he decided to use performance-enhancing drugs, which did help him until he got caught, getting banned from the MLB for life. See, back in 2014, Jenrry had just gotten signed to the Mets in a $500,000 deal that would make him one of the official closers, and the reason he got signed with the Mets was because he was subscribed to our channel Shortstop. And if you want to get signed by an MLB team, well, you need to subscribe too. Oh, you still don't want to subscribe? Well, I'm gonna personally get you banned from the MLB for life then. Anyways, back to Jenrry. As a closer, he would go on to save 28 out of the 31 games he played in. Man, life was good for Jenrry. That was until the MLB suspended him for 80 games after he tested positive for performance-enhancing drugs. Jenrry played dumb, stating he had no clue how these drugs had gotten into his system in the first place. After finally getting back on the field, Jenrry got right back into his groove. That is until he tested positive for a second time, just 14 days after his first suspension had lifted, which resulted in him getting banned for another 162 games. You'd think he learned the second time around, but no, it would take getting permanently banned for life to get him to stop using drugs. That is as far as we know, because after getting unbanned in 2019, he immediately got picked up by the Red Sox minor league team. And so far he seems to have learned his lesson. But he just isn't the same player he once was. While Jenrry did throw away his career, at least he didn't throw away the biggest opportunity of his life. Because that's exactly what 8 players from the White Sox did back in 1919. They did something so crazy, it's gone down as one of the craziest stunts pulled in baseball history. After finishing their season 88-52, the White Sox were favored to win it all coming into the playoffs, which they easily did, making it all the way into the World Series like it was nothing. And to make it even easier, their opponents were none other than the Cincinnati Reds, a team that had just made its first ever World Series appearance, led by their star outfielder Ed Roush. And it would have been an easy win, that is until the White Sox first baseman Chick Gandil was confronted in a hotel lobby. See, having a somewhat experienced past with fixing games, some gamblers decided to pull up on Gandil and pressure him into throwing the World Series. My man was just casually drinking some water, chilling, and then all of a sudden he's thrown into an elaborate plan to throw the World Series? And the gamblers easily convinced Chick to fix the game after offering him $35,000 to throw the game, over 9 times what he made in one season. So after being hired by the gamblers, Chick assembled a group of 7 other White Sox players who would each receive $10,000 for helping to throw the series. But they all made one fatal mistake that would cost them their spot in MLB history. They told way too many people. Chick must have been drinking when he decided to tell a couple gamblers he was throwing the World Series, because the heavily favored White Sox quickly turned into the underdogs as gamblers quickly started betting heavily against the White Sox, which caught the league's attention because they set up a trial after the series to see if the White Sox had actually fixed the game. And well, one of the players got nervous and accidentally admitted to throwing the series. Like, how do you even do that? This man just admitted to the biggest scandal in sports history. So after learning who the 8 players were, the commissioner banned Chick and all 7 of his buddies for life, even going so far as to stop them from ever being admitted into the MLB Hall of Fame. Now, the fact that these 8 players thought they could get away with throwing the World Series is kinda crazy, but it's nowhere near as crazy as what Pete Rose would get banned for. See, Pete Rose, well, this man was living the life every baseball player has dreamed of. Crazy cars, mansions, success on and off the field, but unknown to everyone, Pete was suffering from an addiction so powerful it would cause him to lose everything he had. Now, what is this crazy addiction Pete was hooked on? Well, my man Pete was crazy addicted to gambling. And not just blackjack and poker type gambling. Pete Rose was betting money on his own baseball games. This man would bet on his team winning and then go out and just do his thing, win baseball games. I mean, you gotta give it to this man. If it wasn't so stupid, it could almost be seen as brilliant. But unknown to Pete, his gambling mistakes would cost him his entire career. See, while Pete was making a fortune, people were starting to suspect something was up. And after an extensive investigation into Pete's gambling history, ESPN broke the news to the whole world. Pete was secretly betting on his own games, which didn't go well with the MLB, who almost immediately banned their star player from ever having anything to do with the MLB ever again. Well, at least Pete didn't go to prison, because one player got banned and then was sentenced to 48 months in prison. I'm talking about Chris Correa. See, he thought it would be a good idea to hack into the Astros scouting database, all because he wanted to give his team any advantage it could possibly get. See, it all started in 2014 when he was promoted to scouting director for the St. Louis Cardinals. Having quite a rivalry with the Astros scouting director, Chris decided to try something that would ruin his life. He went out and hired a team of experts to hack into the Astros database to steal any type of secret info about not just scouting prospects, but the entire team. And apparently, the expert hackers weren't good enough because he still got caught. And boy, not only did he get caught, but he got caught by the FBI. And this didn't go down well with the MLB, who decided to ban him from the MLB just like that. I mean, what did this man think was gonna happen? He'd just hack into their website and walk right on out with all their sensitive data? Well, he didn't, because the only thing he walked out with was a 2-year prison sentence and a permanent ban from the MLB. And if you thought what Chris Correa did was crazy, Adam Ottavino literally picked his jersey number because he liked Coke Zero. And another player picked his jersey number to shout out his favorite Taylor Swift album. If that sounds interesting, go check out this video right here, how MLB players got their jersey numbers. What are you doing? Go watch that video.